live from 4 floors up. Eddie is here with his playoff pulse update. Eddie?
Thank you very much, Gary, for that intro. Segment 4 of our show tonight, it's titled NHL Playoff Pulse, an Escape or an Identity. So I welcome all our viewers to comment away. And the audience question we have for you while I go on and tell you the lowdown of the existing NHL playoffs, here's the audience question for you. Has playoff hockey helped lift your spirits lately, or is the pressure of the playoffs just adding to your tension? Do you think sports serves as both a distraction and unifier in times of national distress? Give us your thoughts. We'd love to put them up on the screen and talk about them. So let me carry on here. And I'll just start it off by saying, and then we're 4. So as you guys know, after my beloved Canadians were basically sent packing to the golf course after the first round, and by the way, the Professional Women's Hockey League, the Montreal Victoire, the gals lost gallantly and have actually joined them on the golf course. So we've got both Montreal professional hockey teams playing golf right now. But by the same token, I was very, very hopeful that no other Canadian teams would join them soon thereafter. And as I mentioned last week, I was hopeful that 3 Canadian teams would actually head to the conference finals. I mentioned Toronto, Winnipeg, and Edmonton were all in a position to be in the Final Four. Well. Last Sunday, I looked out of my window here in the apartment, which faces west, and I saw this huge puff of smoke, billow of smoke just coming up. And, I'm just trying to figure out where that smoke was coming from. And you know what it was, Gary?
No, I couldn't imagine what it was.
A big pile of Maple Leafs burning. They played Game 7, and they did not even show up. Boy, did they get creamed. 6-1. It wasn't even close. You know what? We can all make fun of that. We can all, go into the pity party and what went wrong. But I mean, that is just no way to play a Game 7. I think it's 7 consecutive Game 7s they played in that they've lost. They lost 6-1. And you know what was even worse? A few of the fans continued to throw their $250 jerseys on the ice. Which is absolute insanity. And by the way, now that the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be joining the Montreal Victoire and Montreal Canadiens on the golf course, so are the Toronto Scepters from the Professional Women's Hockey League. They also lost and did not make it into the final playoff cut. So you know what? Look, all kidding aside, I was really rooting for the Toronto Maple Leafs to actually make it past the second round and go into the third, if just for the sake of having a greater Canadian contingent in the Final Four. But that just wasn't just to be. I really was rooting for them, but a disappointing season for them again. And you know what? Are they going into another rebuild? I don't know, Gary, because you said they've been rebuilding since 1967, right?
Yeah, and still are. And did I not say last week that they were going to blow this game? And did I not say that most of them had their clothes with them and their golf clubs, and they were getting off the plane? They never showed up at the rink, for God's sakes.
Yeah, that last game, they just lost really, really, really badly. But you know what? Good luck to them next year. They're rebuilding again. There's going to be a lot of changes again. Part of their core, mostly the core 4 just did not show for the last 4 games. And one of them or 2 of them are actually up for contract renewal. So I doubt very much they'll be offered contracts again. Plus the president of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Shanahan, his contract is up too. So I think there's going to be wholesale changes anywhere in that organization. Not just a clean slate, wipe the slate clean and start from scratch, but I'm sure there are going to be fundamental changes in that organization. And by the way, playing in Toronto as a professional athlete or not, being paid millions or not, that is one pressure cooker to play in, because you sneeze the wrong way, the media is all over you. So it's not a good working environment, but hey, it's professional sports, right? And you know what? With every sad story in professional sports, humanity starts to prevail. The Winnipeg Jets were playing Game 6, and yes, the Winnipeg Jets lost as well, Game 6, 4-2 against Dallas. The story of Mark Scheifele, longtime Winnipeg Jet, while he was in Dallas getting ready for his game on Saturday with Winnipeg, he got the news in the morning that his dad had unexpectedly passed away in Winnipeg.
Wow.
So you would immediately think he'd pack his bags and go home. No, he found the energy and the strength to persevere and played the game. I know his dad was with him on the ice, on his shoulders, overlooking his shoulders, on the bench, that his dad was there. He persevered and he played. I'm sure in the name of his father and in the name of everything that his dad sacrificed to get him to that level of professional hockey. So it was a real story of humanity, a real story of camaraderie where, he did hit the ice. The media was, conveying their condolences and prayers and whatnot. He scored Winnipeg's first goal. And Dallas tied the game, and they went into overtime at 1-1. And just before the end of the third period, Mark Scheifele took a penalty. Decided to take a penalty, or it might have been a possible goal. And unfortunately, Dallas scored very near the beginning of their overtime period with poor Mark Scheifele in the penalty box. And pan cameras, he did not leave the box. He was just sitting there all by himself. Of course, his father is on his mind, and now he's in the penalty box while the other team scored. The captain of the Winnipeg Jets came over and got him out of the penalty box, gave him a big hug. The rest of the teammates came and gave him a big hug. And then one of the biggest wonderful traditions in professional sports, and the only sport that does it, is the handshake at the end of a series by the hockey players. And each and every Dallas Star shook his hand, gave him a hug, and offered him words. That handshake line took a long time. It just shows you about the spirit of, it just shows you about the strength of the human spirit at the worst of times, that people can actually talk to each other and console each other in difficult times. So that was a big story for the Winnipeg Jets. And unfortunately, the President's Cup champions, meaning the team that finished first in the NHL regular season, got bounced in the second round. So I'm hoping it's a learning exercise and for the team, and they'll be better for it next year. But what a story with Mark Scheifele. Just I had tears in my eyes when I watched that. So next question is what's left, right?
Yep.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers, again, as I predicted at the beginning, at episode 4, Gary, I predicted that Edmonton and the Dallas Stars would be in the Final Four. Guess what? They're 2 of the Final Four. So it's a repeat of last year's Western Conference Final. Last year, Edmonton took it 4-2. And it's the third year in a row now that Dallas makes it to the conference finals. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not our last remaining Canadian team, the Edmonton Oilers, actually prevail and advance into the Stanley Cup. For the Eastern Conference Final, we have the reigning champions Florida Panthers playing the Carolina Hurricanes. And last year, Florida advanced over New York Rangers. They didn't make the playoffs this year. And Carolina lost to the New York Rangers 4-2 in last year's round. So it'll be very interesting to see how that works out. And by the way, Florida Panthers won their first game against the Carolina Hurricanes. And our Canadian Edmonton Oilers will be playing the Dallas Stars tonight. So that's what I got in terms of the National Hockey League, Gary. Good luck to the gals that are playing in the Professional Women's Hockey League. I believe the team from Ottawa and the team from Minnesota are playing in the final round, if I'm not mistaken. So good luck for them. Good for sports all around. I personally have found watching the playoffs not a stressor, but I personally found them to be a stress release. A solid sense of nationalism, regardless of what Canadian team is in the picture, in the NHL playoffs. So for me, it's a stress release. And it's good to get behind your team. Hockey being Canada's national sport or preferred national sport. It's always great to chat with your friends. I continuously jab you about the Toronto Maple Leafs, Gary, so that's a stress. That's a stress, a de-stressor for me. I find sports will take a lot of people's minds off of the difficulties of life, as Greg had mentioned before. Right? What are we doing in terms of recreation? And it'd be great to hear from the rest of our guests, our viewers. And what do you think? Is hockey a de-stressor, or does it actually increase your stress levels? And oh, by the way, also good luck to our team from Canada that's playing in Sweden right now in the International Ice Hockey Federation World Championship. So I believe Canada has made it into the elimination round, and that's another thing for Canadians to rally around on top of the Stanley Cup Championships.
Wow, that was a busy report.
Thank you.
And Joe says it might be a repeat of last year, Florida versus Edmonton in the final.
Yeah, I think he's right.
Before we go, we did have a few people very early on saying hello, popping in and saying hello in the comments. And I didn't get a chance to get those popped up on screen, but thank you for doing that. There's one last one that just came in. Well, it came in a few minutes ago, but I thought I'd wait until you were finished your report. Totally. Eddie, I'm so grateful to you and the fact that we have multiple televisions in the house. You distress by going to watch sports and not making me have to watch it. Thank you, my love.
Oh, good one. I didn't see that one.
Well, it came in a short time ago, and I thought I'd save it right till the very end. That's a nice way to sum it up overall.